Welcome to the Bella Grace podcast, where we are helping you transform your life.
Mind, body, and soul.
Whether you are struggling to find balance, you are using unhealthy behaviors or substances to cope, or you just want to unlock the root cause of what's holding you back from living your best life, Bella Grace Coaching and Podcast can help you transform your life, mind,
Body, and soul.
That's right.
Yeah.
And this week we're doing that by talking about overcoming
the fear of judgment.
Yes. Ooh. This is something that Rosie has been dealing with. I'm calling her out, guys. Totally calling her out.
Not me.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Yes, I'm guilty. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Please tell.
Before I share a little bit of what I am overcoming.
Yes.
Okay. Because that's the goal, and I have. So here's this quote. I can't remember which movie this was, but it was a good one, okay? Because this quote just stood out for me, and I had to go back and rewind and pause and write it out. It said, if we're always guided by other people's thoughts, what's the point of having our own?
I love that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which basically means like, I guess it meant like, if I'm always worried about other people's opinion, then what's the point of me just not having my own thoughts and opinion?
Right.
If what they think and say matters so much to me, like, I guess,
Yeah.
because I feel like we're always being judged no matter what. We cannot please anybody.
Yeah.
We can't please them by the way, that we talk, that we are, the way we dress, the way we do things. I mean, God created us to be unique individuals. And if we're focused on what other people think and say about us, that steals our joy.
Yes.
And that steals our peace.
Yes.
And that controls our life.
Yeah.
Because then we're always looking for external validation instead of looking for internal validation.
Yeah. And what do we always say? If it steals your peace, it's not worth it.
It's not. It's not. And you must protect your peace at all costs.
Yeah. No, seriously.
Yeah.
And we were talking about this earlier. Like, we were joking about it, and we joked about it 2 weeks ago when we were talking about my hair and how it was a hot mess that day. I'm a little bit more put together today.
Oh no. Did the judgment get to you? No, I hope not.
No, it didn't.
No.
And we were talking about it again today at brunch about how when you first met me, I openly shared my story.
Yes.
With no shame, just straight up. And I have a crazy story.
It's not crazy. She calls it crazy. I think by the grace of God, He just had a plan for you. And you overcame all of that, and you did a lot of healing, but it wasn't easy.
Yeah. And
if people like your story, with everything you've been through, it could make you feel like maybe, there's shame in it, there's guilt, there's fear, there's a lot of trauma as well, if that's what you want to focus on. But if you focus on the grace of God, the beauty from the ashes, what God like you went through all those things, not so that you cannot do anything with it. If you would not be opening your story, or you wouldn't be talking about your story, I wouldn't know what you go through, or what you struggle with, or what you've been through. And it's sort of like, don't judge the books by its cover. Yeah. Because you just never know what people are going through. Yeah. And if you wouldn't have shared that, I probably wouldn't have been drawn to you. Yeah. And I probably would be like, oh, it's just Teresa. Yeah. Yeah. I would not know. And that you not opening up wouldn't have allowed those doors to, when you're not vulnerable,
Yeah.
Guys, I can't pronounce certain words.
Vulnerable.
Yes.
When you're not vulnerable.
And you don't talk about your struggles or your life or your past.
Yeah.
You don't open those doors for connection with others or friendships even, because you're holding it to yourself because you are afraid that you're going to be judged.
Yeah.
You're going to be criticized. The spirit of fear is going to come get you, and you're going to you're your worst enemy if you think about it.
Yeah. So we were joking about it and how like I don't care and I just share my story openly. But that came from a place where I was afraid of judgment so much for so many years that I didn't tell anyone about myself. I didn't let anybody in. I didn't share anything about myself. I hid who I was as much as I could. Like, I totally put a lid on my past and didn't let anybody see it.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until probably 2017 when I was like, you know what? Screw it. It was even after that, probably. It was probably 2019, 2020, when I was like, I don't care. I don't care if they know my story. I don't care what they think of me.
Yeah.
I am not going to keep putting myself in a box and hiding the light that I have to share with people out of fear and shame. Because that's, like you said, that keeps people trapped. And it was keeping me trapped. But I kept everything hidden for a reason. And the one time I let someone close to me see the true me, they backstabbed me.
Ooh.
And I was up for a promotion. I had been in a certain position for about 4 years. And there was someone else who was in that position, and she'd been in that position for 7 years. And I got promoted over her. Oh. And over the 4 years that we had worked together, I had shared very intimate parts of myself. I hadn't shared my entire story, but she knew bits and pieces of it.
Yeah. And that's more than enough for someone to feel when you get promoted to a higher level as them, that's more than enough for them to just use that against you, because
and it was,
and that's ugly. Okay, guys, this is gonna change to why haters do what they do. Not just kidding. No, that's not what we're about.
No, but she
it's just
did, and when I got promoted, she was so angry. Oh. She went to the news. So I got promoted to a very high profile position.
Not the news. You mean like
literally
Fox
or 34
or what
news.
are the other channels? Because I don't
ABC,
watch news.
NBC,
Univision, Primer Impacto.
Univision, no, her husband worked for a news station.
No.
And she was so mad that I got promoted that she went home from work. She stormed out of the conference room, left, went home, and Googled me. Wait. Don't Google me.
Can you find you on Google?
Only if you know my maiden name.
No.
Because everything was...
She's changed her name, guys.
I know.
Don't Google her.
Don't Google me.
Wow.
But she went home and she Googled me, and she shared everything with the news station.
That is horrible.
The news station called my boss and was like, did you know that the new deputy city secretary has done blah, 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 like all the things.
But that's your past. Why should it be held against you in your present or future?
At that point, I had to sit in the office with my new boss, the assistant city manager, and the chief of police, and go through my entire history. It is the most degrading and shame invoking thing to have your past laid bare in front of you without you being the one to disclose it. It was so, I was sitting there just crying in that chair, and I did not know what to do. And finally I was like, look, I can't change the things that I did to cope with the things that I went through when I was 18 years old. I was a stupid teenager. I didn't know what I was doing when I started doing drugs. And doing drugs led me to doing a lot of things that I'm not proud of. And I can't change that.
Yeah.
But what I can do is I can make a public statement that tells the public, yes, I have a past.
Like we all do.
But I've overcome it.
Yeah.
And I, like so many other people, deserve a second chance. And I've proven that I deserve a second chance. I was like, you hired me for this job for a reason.
Yeah, because you qualify for the job.
And so she was like, don't worry about it. It's fine. They all were like, it's fine. But after that, I was terrified to share any part of myself with anyone.
Yeah, I understand, because I think we all been through that, and I experienced it myself, where I had fake friends where I thought that person was a safe person and they weren't, and they hurt you and they backstab you.
Yeah.
And you don't think of this because if you're like me, I like to see the best in people, and you never think that anyone's going to do these kinds of things to you. That's why you open up to them, or else you wouldn't, right?
Yeah.
And when they do that, it's like, it makes you want to like shut down.
Yeah. And curl into yourself.
Yes, because you don't feel like anybody is safe again. And it's happened to me as well.
Yeah. It makes you not want to trust.
Yeah.
It makes you not want to open up to anybody.
It's hurtful. It's depressing.
So hurtful.
Yeah.
And when I moved to Dallas, I still was very protective of myself. I didn't really make friends at work anymore. I didn't really let anybody in too close. I made one friend at my first job in Dallas, and she's still one of my good friends. We hardly see each other now because we don't work in the same industry, but she's still one of my good friends, and I love her to pieces. Shout out Tana.
Hi.
And Tana really helped me see that there were people out there who could be genuine and who could love you in spite of your flaws, and who could keep your secrets safe. And I don't mean secrets like, now I don't keep my past a secret, but then I did. I still did. And she respected that.
Yeah.
And she respected the fact that I wanted to do that, and she knew why. And she helped me do that. And she helped me see that I could share with people and not be judged.
And the thing is that you sharing is not a problem. The problem is when people do those horrible things to good people.
Yeah. I had to learn though Tana helped me learn that
not everybody's
going to be like that.
Yes.
And then someone else at that job made me realize that I don't care if you know me, don't like me from my past, don't want to be my friend, because the people who really matter, the people who really matter, and there are more people who need to hear my story than the people who are going to judge me for it. And I came to peace with that.
And not everyone is going to understand you or relate to you, because this is not their story. This is not their life. And they may never go through what you've been through. They may experience different things, but that doesn't mean or give them the right to judge you just because their struggles are different than yours or their sins are different. Because who are you to judge?
Right.
You're nobody to judge.
Mm-hmm.
If you're Christian like we are, you know that the only person that can judge you is God, because he created you.
Yeah.
And even so, God loves you no matter what you
Yeah.
have done in your past, no matter what you do or you're going to do, because he knows everything about you. And he still died in that cross because he loves you no matter what.
Yeah.
No matter what. But the devil will come to kill, steal, and destroy. And he will destroy you by lying, by playing mind games, by using people to make you feel like you're not good enough. Like, look at you, Teresa. Who are you in this? Why are you in this position? Look at, this is who you are. You need to stay back there. Like, who do you think you are? What are you doing? No, this is not who you are. This is who you really are. He wants to keep you stuck in those chains.
Oh, yeah.
Because he doesn't want you to speak and do what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Which is,
then you help other people find freedom.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And he doesn't want that.
Yeah.
And the devil will attack you in any form or way that he can, steal your peace and make you feel that shame and that guilt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's important to remember that when you are fearing judgment, it's usually because you're stepping out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
And stepping out of your comfort zone
can be scary.
Is scary.
Because it's a place you've never been.
Yeah. You've never been there before.
Yeah.
And it's growing you.
Yeah. But in order for you to grow, you have to step out of your comfort zone, because you'll never know who you can help or what you can become, or you'll never reach your highest potential or change the world. I mean, if you don't step out and do that, and it's not easy, it's hard. It can be very scary too. And then you can start judging yourself or doubting yourself. You can be like, well, who am I? Like, why? No. And you want to sort of go back to the safe zone, and you sort of want to like not do that what you're called to do for the same reason. Right. For the fear of judgment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. People thought I was insane when I quit my corporate job. They still do. But I let fear of judgment derail my purpose, derail me from pursuing my purpose for years. So I spent 12 years in municipal government and records and information management jobs. 12 years.
Wow.
During that 12 years, I got my first master's degree. I was on track to get my master's degree in counseling. I changed my major shortly after my coworker did what she did when I got promoted. Because when she did that, I was like, there's no way they're going to let someone with my past be a counselor. And instead of doing the research and looking into it and doing this and doing that, like, I let fear control me, and I changed my major. And my major, my new major still allowed me to potentially sit for the counseling exam. It also qualified me to sit for the professional coaching exam. But when I graduated, I didn't do either one of those things out of fear. Out of fear of being judged for leaving a very lucrative, very successful career path that I was already on. Yeah. So instead of going and sitting for my LPC exam and sitting for my coaching exam, instead of doing that, the whole reason I was in college was to do that. Instead of doing that, I let fear control me, and I stayed in the records industry.
Wow.
And so then I ended up having to go back, and I'm getting a second master's because I waited too long and they changed the requirements, and now I'm not qualified to sit for the counseling exam. And I had to take a separate coaching certification to become a certified coach because my college was no longer accredited by the International Coaching Federation.
Oh, no.
All this could have been avoided if I would have kept the path, kept true to myself.
Yeah.
And not let the fear of judgment hold me back.
Right. Yep.
And
Wow.
that's another thing that, like, I can't let that happen to someone else.
No.
And if I don't speak up and I don't talk about where I've been and I don't talk about where I'm going and, the new places that I've been, I might be letting someone stay stuck.
Yeah, in
by
the
not
dark.
sharing.
Exactly. You wouldn't be able to do what you do or what you need to do if you're just in that place that you're constantly playing your past and letting that fear of judgment and guilt and shame come back to you. You're not free. You're a slave to your thoughts, to your past.
Yeah.
And you're not able to move forward and help others.
Yeah.
And if you can't help others, the world is not, we're not moving, we're not helping one another, we're not stepping into our calling. And if you don't step into your calling, that's hurting God, because God created you for a purpose.
Yep.
Whether you are y'all, if I could just talk, like, I mean, I am, and I'm going to, but you know how many people in the Bible do not have a perfect or good past? They were all like chosen by God, not because they were holy or perfect.
No. Drunks, adulteress.
Yes.
Murderers.
I mean, Lord, like
Jonah was just completely disobedient and ended up in a whale because of it.
Yeah. I mean, like, people were cowards. People were not the strongest. They were probably the weakest link.
Yeah.
And they were not, but they couldn't do this without God. And God chose them because God saw potential. God created them for a purpose. And he was like, nope, I didn't create you to be this, to stay stuck here. For you to believe those lies. I created you to kill Goliath, to slay those giants, for you to be a king one day.
Yeah.
But all you have to do is believe that and step into your calling. Yeah. And you need to not give a damn.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
And it's hard and it's not easy. It's easy for us to be like, oh, you need to not care.
Yeah.
But you have to continually work on yourself and think about what is holding you back. Why are you stuck, and why are you letting these fear of judgment get to you? And once you get to the root of the problem, then you can overcome it. You can move forward.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
What kept me stuck for so long was literally the fear of judgment.
Yeah.
And I overcame it by realizing that my calling and the people who I was going to save were worth more to me than any friendships lost, any job lost, any whatever lost. Like that, if they go away, if they decide that they don't want to be my friend, if they decide that they can't handle me, that's fine. They weren't meant to be in my future.
No.
And that's okay. And I finally came to peace with that. And it's hard to come to peace with that, but I think it is vital to living a life free of the fear of judgment.
Yeah.
It is like realizing God will make sure that whoever needs to be in my present will be in my present. He will make sure that whoever needs to be in my future is in my future.
He's going to place that because God orders your steps. He knows your past, your present, and your future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I also feel like a lot of times we feel the most fear when we are at a turning point.
Yes. Oh my God, Jinxie only cold.
Yeah. Yes, it is always when we are at the crux of our purpose, when we start to feel the biggest fear.
Yeah.
Someone said, if your dreams don't scare you, they aren't big enough. And that has always resonated with me.
And we're not talking about nightmares that scare you guys. No, we're talking about those big dreams that you're like, oh my God, how am I going to do this? Like, that's not you. God, you have to get someone else to do your work because I am not it. Yeah.
You had a vision of yourself speaking on stages, and she gets stage fright.
I am. Okay, guys.
Yeah. So
good one, Teresa. Now you're flipping it out on me. Okay, no. Okay, yes. So yes. Okay, so yeah. We're gonna talk about myself now. In case you didn't know.
I picked this topic on purpose.
Yes, she did, because she wanted to pick on me because she's bullying me. Okay, no. I want my mommy.
This is me pulling you out of your comfort zone.
She is, guys, because although I am talkative, I'm also conservative and I'm also shy. I don't know why. Don't judge me, please. I'm a weirdo like that, but that's how God made me, and that's okay. So I have stage fright, which is crazy. I do. I really do. And after I got baptized, I don't know if I shared this with some of my friends, but I remember this. And last weekend I was having lunch with one of my friends that know me since, I got baptized, because she went to my baptism and I got baptized as a Christian. So after that, I had a vision of me, and I thought it was just like an imagination, like, me daydreaming, because I daydream a lot, guys. So, and I was just like, and I saw this vision of me on a stage with a microphone talking to thousands of people. And that was scary to me. And I was like, God, I have some really stupid thoughts. And I'm like, whatever. But that stayed with me for a very long time. And me talking to my old friend, I was just reminiscing about how much we have grown and the growth and how we've just come a long way from when we first met each other.
Yeah.
And I went home and I was just thinking, and I was like, and I got so emotional. I had this moment where I was like, oh my God, I had that vision of me on the stage and talking. And I was just like, oh, that's dumb, because I have stage fright and I ramble a lot. And I don't speak the most, how should I say? I don't use big words, guys. I am a very normal, simple person. I use the simple words.
Yeah.
So,
and that's okay.
And I'm like, how am I going to speak? Like, what am I going to speak to these people about? Like, I'm a stay-home mom. Back then I was.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, why would people want to hear me? What do I have to say that is very important, right? So, but last weekend, I was just like, oh my God. And I told my husband, I waited till he got home because I wanted to see his face, because I didn't want him to be like, oh, you're just, But I was so emotional because I was like, wow, what if this is my way of talking to the world, not maybe necessarily on a stage, but on a podcast, behind a screen or a microphone. And I was just like, this is what I'm supposed to do. Yeah. And I have prayed about this a million times. And I'm over here like, God, give me a sign if you really want me to do this, because I don't think this is what you want me to do. And I'm okay. Just please give me a sign. And God kept confirming.
Yeah.
And I was just like, no, that's not it. Yeah. And I'm sure that God was like hitting his head like, using his hand to hit his forehead, like, ugh, like, what else do I need to do, child?
Yeah.
Or just like hitting me on the back like this, like, and
why aren't you listening?
Yeah, like, what do I have to do? Do I have to make your cat talk? Like, you know, like he made a donkey talk in the Bible. And I'm like, I guess sometimes we are just afraid to step into our calling because of the fear of judgment. And I think that's what I've had. I was having sleepless nights and I was stressing out about the way I sounded on the microphone and the way y'all.
She messaged me so many times and she's like, you gotta take this out, you gotta do that, you gotta, and I'm like, oh, it'll be okay, Rosie. It'll be okay.
I was overthinking. I was in my head and I was being my worst enemy. Yeah. And we really are our worst enemy. Yeah. And I was like, oh my God, like, Teresa,
she was like, you gotta cut this out. You gotta cut that out. And I'm like, no.
And I was worried about the way I looked, the way I sounded, what I was saying. And I was like, I don't sound professional or put together. I'm just like, I was just, I don't know, a mess.
She was. And I always tell my daughter, I'm like, we are so self-conscious as a human race. Like, right? We're so, but it's really that we're self-centered. Yeah. We are selfish. We are self-centered and we are selfish. And we think that everyone is thinking about us.
Yeah, like the spotlight is on you. Like all your flaws are just
they're highlighted for everyone to see. And the truth of the matter is most people are so focused on themselves that they aren't paying attention to you. And I guarantee you, there might be like 1 in 50 listeners and watchers who watch this and critique what we are wearing or what we sound like or what, you know what I mean? Like that. It is a very small number because people listen to podcasts because they need something. Yeah. And they are looking for something. And if we could just unravel ourselves from the equation and just be here to serve the information instead of worrying about us and, you know, all the crap. Yes, like we shouldn't be on the podcast, on the video in like ratty shorts and whatever, you know what I mean? But stop focusing on us and start focusing on how we can help our neighbor. Yeah. It takes away the pressure of the judgment of others.
Because it's not about you. Yeah. It's about others. Yeah. And when God calls you, no matter what, you have to step into that calling. Yeah. Because when you don't step into what you're supposed to do, you're not bringing joy to yourself or others, and you're not bringing joy or should I say glory to God. Yeah. Because you're not living the life that God created you to live. Yeah. So basically you're living a life that is pointless and meaningless because you can't even be yourself. Yeah. And God created you the way you are. Yeah. For a reason, for his purpose. Yeah. So that was just really hard on me because no matter what I kept praying about, and it was the same prayer over and over. And I even got tired of myself, hearing myself with praying over the same thing. And I was just like, oh my God, I sound really, really dumb. Like, what else do I need? Yeah. Well, I was so afraid of being judged by you, by, I don't know, anybody about everything. And I was like, well, que sea lo que Dios quiera. It is what it is, and let it be God's will. Yeah. Because I'm not here to look cute, or I'm not here to sound cute. I'm here because I want to help others overcome things that I have struggled and overcome. And I'm here because this is what I like to do. I like to help people And I also like to talk.
Yes. Yes. We both like to talk.
Even if I don't, I don't have the best voice for it. I mean, I'm here and sorry guys, this is what you get.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah.
And it is, fear of judgment can hold you back from so many things.
Take your peace.
Yeah.
It can stress you out, cause you anxiety.
Mm-hmm. And it can keep you from experiencing life.
Enjoying life. Yeah.
So how do you overcome, how have you been overcoming the fear of judgment? Because you're very recently walking through this. Like this is really new for you.
Yeah.
It's fresh. So how have you handled dealing with that fear of judgment? Because you've overcome it a lot. I know you're still kind of experiencing it, but you have, since we recorded 3 weeks ago, it is night and day difference.
Yeah.
And you're comfortable, you're calm, you're whatever, like you're excited.
Yeah.
So how have you overcome it over the last 3 weeks?
I've been praying, guys. I've been praying because I have to talk to the good Lord about my anxiety, my stress, and I ask him to take it away and just replace it with joy and peace and just continue to help me and guide me because I cannot do this myself.
Yeah.
And I think one of the reasons why I felt like I couldn't do this is because I felt like I couldn't talk about God. Not because you told me anything or mentioned it, because no, you wouldn't. You're Christian.
Yeah.
And
we
you wouldn't know. But yes. And I was, but that's how it felt.
Yeah.
And I think that was like the devil, like putting in lies in me and just, saying like, who are you?
Yeah.
Why, what makes you so special that you think you can do this? Like, what makes you perfect or who are you?
Yeah, it's that negative self-talk.
Yeah.
And if you're not
it's all
Christian
those voices
and you're not spiritual, then it looks like negative self-talk.
But it looks
like you
it was spiritual
yourself,
warfare, guys. Yeah.
It looks like you telling yourself you aren't qualified. You
are not good enough.
You're not good enough. You don't know enough about this topic to talk on it. You don't, you're, the list goes on and on and on.
Yeah, and you can. Yeah. You can focus on that if you want to, but if you don't, you can start looking at what you do have. Like, I started to think, and talking to my friend, she reassured me, and I was able to like I said, see the growth and understand that God has been preparing me for this.
Yeah.
And he always will, for everything and anything. And I also realized that I wasn't trusting God.
Yeah.
That I wasn't focusing on him. And I was like, okay, I'm going to talk about you, God, because I am a Christian and there's no way that I cannot talk about you and the greatness and goodness that you've done in my life and that you still continue to.
Yep.
And I will continue to talk about God on here.
And that's fine.
Yes.
Yes.
And I feel really glad about it because God is a big part of who I am.
Yeah.
And he brought me out of the trenches to here.
Yeah.
And it's all for a reason.
Yeah.
And if I wouldn't have gone through everything that I did, I wouldn't be here with the mentality and the spirit and everything I know, trying to help others have a better life and reach their potential and just, Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was all for a purpose. It was all for God's glory, not for my self-gratification or to look good or for anything. It's all for what I was called to do.
Yeah. Which is to help people.
Yeah. And I don't know any other way.
I love it. No, I want to piggyback on that because prayer is a big one for me. Reminding myself of my purpose and the promise, because long time ago, I prayed and prayed and prayed, and I was like, God, what's my purpose? God, what's my purpose? God, what's my purpose?
Yeah.
And every time something happens, I always fall back on the fact that the last thing I knew for certain was that I am called to help people who are struggling with drugs and alcohol.
Yeah.
And so I always go back to that. And so when I start to doubt my peace or doubt my purpose, doubt what I'm doing, and start letting that fear of judgment creep in, I go back to, does this move me towards helping people who are struggling with substance use and alcohol use addictions? And if the answer is yes, then I don't care what anybody says. I don't care what anybody thinks, because that is my purpose. And so that prayer, holding on to my purpose and reminding myself of my purpose and standing in my purpose. And then the third thing that I do is reminding myself of who I am, where I've been, and where I'm going. So I look at past, present, future and say, I was here so that I could be here today with a purpose of going there tomorrow.
Yes.
And when I look at it that way, everybody else's opinions
Doesn't
just
matter.
dissolve away. Because my purpose is to help people who are struggling with substance and behavior addictions.
Yeah.
So that they can find freedom. And if I let the fear of judgment continue to hold me down, I don't get to that future spot.
Yeah.
And that breaks my heart. The thought of the people who need me not getting me because I let the fear of judgment hold me back, that scares me.
Yeah.
And it breaks my heart for them.
Yeah.
And there have been people in my past who, had they not gone before me, I would not be where I am today.
Yeah. And that reminds me of the story I told you, where and the story I told you was about me going to Colorado, like about year ago for my birthday, a birthday trip. And while I was there, my husband and I were at this taco place.
Oh yeah.
And we were eating tacos, and we were the only customers there. And then a few minutes later, a couple of girls guys came in. They looked like they were, maybe early 20s. And you can tell they had been drinking, some of them. And I can't remember how me and this girl started talking, but she had been drinking. You can tell she couldn't, really hold her balance. So she was sitting next to me, and I think I might have like complimented her skirt, because I still remember what she was wearing and everything. And y'all, she was really pretty.
Yeah.
And I don't know how one thing led to the other, but she was crying to me that her friend, one of her good friends was cheating on, was messing around with her boyfriend, and that she was a fake friend, and that he, didn't, and she was just going on about it. And I can tell she was so heartbroken, and I felt for her. I was emotional for her, because I guess I know what it's like to have ugly things happen to you, and and she was drinking her pain away, because that's how she was coping. And I started telling her, talking to her about God. I started talking to her, about things. And I remember telling her, like, hey, you're so beautiful. Like, if you shouldn't be drinking because of this, because he doesn't deserve you. You're beautiful. I can tell you're really smart. You're going to college. You have such a great future ahead. And here you are wasting it because you're you're hurting and I understand that. And you have a valid reason why you're hurting.
Yeah.
But drinking, it's not a good way for you to be coping.
Right.
And I was like, you need new friends and you need to leave him because he is not good for you. And I was just on her.
Rosie came.
Yeah, I was just, but I saw her like a baby sister.
Yeah.
You know, and I was just like, oh my God, like, it really broke my heart. And I'll never forget about her because I was just like, oh my God, like, I remember once being young and going through similar situations where I felt like I wanted to have guidance or a mentor or someone tell me like, hey, you don't have to do this to cope with this because you have a reason to feel this way because you've been through this or someone did this to you. But
the feelings are valid.
Yes. But
there are other ways to cope with it.
Exactly.
And aren't going to hurt you.
Yeah. That there's going to be, you know, it can lead to, you know, addictions even, or it's just not healthy. And I was like, oh my God, I've been doing this all my life. And here I am scared to do this. And then last weekend, I was talking to my younger sister on the phone, and I realized also that I was coaching her. I didn't tell you about this one, but now you're hearing it for the first time. But I caught myself coaching her, and I started laughing, and I said, "Oh my God, I am coaching you right now, and I'm doing it for free." And she starts laughing, and she's like, "You know what? You are always checking up on me, calling me, and I tell you what's going on and you always advise me on what to do or what I shouldn't do." And I said, well, I can't tell you what to do. I just, you know, let you see things. Yeah. And everything is totally your decision. Yeah. And she's like,
making her aware of what is already inside her. Yeah.
And I was just like, oh my God, like, here you are opening my eyes and I'm over here still blind asking for an answer. Like, what else do you need?
Here's
like,
your sign.
Yeah. So there you have it.
Yeah. Wow. Well,
so that's that. Yeah. But because of fear of judgment, I could easily stop and be like, oh, you can figure it out on your own. I don't have to help you. I'm not going to do this because I care more about what people think and say about me.
Yeah.
And the truth is that you're never, if you're looking to have, you know, for people's external validation to feel good and to help you in any kind of way, it's not going to happen because you're never going to please anybody. Yeah. Anybody, good or bad.
Yeah. You're never going to be perfect for anyone.
No. Yeah. No. One day they may like you, one day they won't, or they'll just, because people just, you know, project onto you how they think and feel about themselves.
Yeah. And that kind of goes back to what I was saying. Like, people are self-centered. They're self-focused. And we need to stop putting so much credit into what other people think.
Yeah.
Because, a lot of what they think about us is just a reflection of what they think about themselves.
Of the healing they need to do for themselves. Because if they think my hair is ugly, then they need to think about why they think my hair is ugly. And it's not my problem, it's their problem. Yes. It's just an example, guys. I just got my hair done like a few weeks ago. Thank you. But that's just how it is. Yeah. And I mean, we're in a world that's not perfect. Like, geez, you know, like, guys, like, stop being so judgmental. I mean, love a little more. Yeah. Be kinder. It doesn't cost too much, guys. Like, that's the only thing that's free right now because of inflation. But I mean, y'all, like, kindness goes a long way, and you don't have to judge people for the way they live or they are or what, you know, like, everyone's different. And if you're judging others, other people are going to judge you just the same.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, so It was great having you on. I hope you have learned something. If you need help navigating living life free of judgment, we can help you. Reach out to us. We both have experience with it, and we'd be happy to help walk you through that.
Yes, definitely.
And bring some awarenesses to you about how you might be letting the fear of judgment hold you back. How that might be the reason you haven't made your goals and accomplished your dreams. Yeah, why you're stuck in a rut. But we can dig into that with you if you think that sounds interesting or that would be helpful for you. You can just click the link in the show notes for booking a free consultation. One of us will get with you and talk to you about it and see if we can come up with a plan to help you. But otherwise,
don't forget to like and subscribe, share, comment, or DM us.
Yes.
Let us know if this is something that you are struggling with and you need help, or if you can relate, or how you have overcome this fear of judgment. And
let's get
thank you for watching.
Going. Yep. Bye.
Bye.